Hey yo, your source for celebrity news. Do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you are not already subscribed to the channel, why do you not go ahead and do that too? Alright y'all, let us get into it. The story that everybody is talking about. Ashlee Janae, a black model, video vixen, and lifestyle influencer who went to Tanzania with a Caucasian boyfriend and now, unfortunately, is no longer on this earth. After hearing this young girl's tragic story, a whole lot of celebrities weighed in. For example, Willie D said her fiancé's story is not adding up, it was staged. Godfrey said he did it. Glad he is not black. After that, Ricky Smiley sent a message to the family. He said, "Stay in contact with the people that are investigating the crime. Get an attorney or a private investigator or whatever to help with the investigation. Just see what resources you can get to do what you need to do to get the answers that you need." But I really hate that happened to that beautiful young lady. Next, after people found out that Iggy Azalea knew Joe McCann, Ashlee's fiancé, she jumped in the comments to say, "That is incorrect. I have never been a client of Joe's. He has never managed any of my investments. I worked with him briefly as he advised on a board for a separate company unrelated to Asymmetric. I also sat on the board. He was discovered to have questionable business practices and everyone I know stopped doing business with him in 2024. And then last but not least, Cardi B came through and said that girl did not off herself."
And now the details on the investigation into the death of Ashlee Robinson. Her family is demanding answers after the influencer from South Jersey was found dead during a trip to Africa where she had just been engaged. Action News reporter Cheyenne Corinne joining us live in the Satellite Center with more on this heartbreaking story. Cheyenne.
Alicia, well, Ashlee Robinson, she actually was raised locally in South Jersey, and now her death in Zanzibar is making headlines across the world. Well, today we spoke to her family in Delaware who say they aren't getting answers from her fiancé or officials in Tanzania about what happened to her.
Uncertainty, mystery, anger, sadness. It's like a part of me has been taken away.
On April 5th, influencer Ashlee Robinson, who goes by Ashlee Janae on social media, was celebrating her 31st birthday in Zanzibar, Tanzania. She was on the vacation with her boyfriend of 1 year who popped the question just 2 days before. Ashlee's mother says she never would have expected that less than a week later her daughter would be dead. On April 8th, she says Ashlee called saying she and her fiancé got into an argument and were moved to separate rooms. The next day, she received another call, this time from her fiancé.
Ashlee did something to herself and that she was being taken to the hospital. I said, "What happened when?" And he told me it had been 11 hours.
Hours later, the luxury hotel the couple was staying at called saying, "Ashlee passed away." According to the hospital's medical report, Ashlee had an unidentified mark around her neck. They wrote, quote, "According to the husband, he found she hanged herself on the door with several question marks."
Sometime Jill went back to the room with security, and that's how they found her.
As she was also taken to a second hospital, who listed her cause of death as cerebral hypoxia by strangulation and suffocation. So, you know darn well that this right here is getting ready to be the first episode of Source Investigates. Source Investigates. We getting ready to figure out what really happened over there in Africa and see if Joe's creepy ass needs to be locked up. Okay, so quick recap. A young girl from New Jersey who is absolutely stunning decides that she wants to try her hand at modeling. She has 2 black parents, but at some point her mom and dad separate and her mom starts dating a white man who becomes like a father to her. So she has a different outlook when it comes to race. For example, one time she wrote white boys with a heart eyes emoji, and then another time she wrote, "My mom is convinced I am going to be with a white man just like her." Then another time, she posted a picture of her mom with her white partner, and she wrote, "Hey, mom and dad." After that, she posted a picture of her father side by side with her mother's white man, and she wrote, "They say sons need their mothers like daughters need their fathers, and I was blessed with 2. Happy Father's Day to both my incredible dads. Love you." All right. So, as you can see, the environment that Ashlee grew up in may have helped to shape some of her preferences and also her outlook on interracial relationships. Eventually, her homegirl moves to Miami, and she helps the homegirl make the 18-hour drive from New Jersey to Miami. And then, when they get there, she was supposed to turn around and go home. But just before she was getting ready to leave, her homegirl made a bet with her. And the bet went something like this. Girl, if you find a job down here in Miami by Friday, then you have to move down here. But if you do not, then you could go back to New Jersey. And guess what? She found herself a job by Wednesday. So she went back to Jersey real quick, packed up all the stuff, made the round trip, and made Miami her permanent residence. So for the next few years, she starts getting jobs being it girl in music videos. For example, she popped up in Drake's video, Freddie Gibbs' video, Vince Staples, DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, Lil Baby, and she even worked with Kevin Gates. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? You know, we keeping it organic. Me and my little chocolate Easter bunny face, man. You going to we about to get in her car. She probably pulls she just came for to pick me up. Something like, nothing too crazy. She from Philly. So you know she crazy. She toxic. She might stab me. You might stab me in my sleep. You told me if I take my hands off, you going to beat me up because I am good my hands. I ain't going no trouble. I love y'all. Y'all have a beautiful day. All right, so between the ages of 20 and 31, her image starts to change, and things start getting a little bit more expensive. And she goes from being more video vixen to more refined lifestyle influencer who shares her luxurious high-end style and expensive exotic adventures with the world. I am traveling around the world in a day. Got me a white boy. Put on a Chanel and I say, yes, I do not play around the world in a day. I am traveling around the world in a day. Got me a white boy to pay. Put on a Chanel and I say, yes, girls, I do not play around the world in a day. MX Mastercard Visa Africa India LC Visa. Got me a white boy spending those texts, so I'm traveling around the world in a day. Got me a white boy that put on Chanel and I slay. Yes, girls, I do not play around the world in a day. MX Mastercard Visa Africa India Swiss Ops Visa got me a white boy spilling those checks. So where to next? So, fast forward to 1 year ago, when Ashlee reveals that she is dating now 45-year-old Joe McCann, a self-described entrepreneur who made millions through founding a company called Asymmetric and trading crypto. During that time, Joe was newly divorced from his ex-wife, She Jackson, who by the way is also a black woman, and they had one child together during their marriage. Now, interestingly, on his Twitter page, Joe has a quote from the iconic pimp Iceberg Slim that says, "Only a fool trips on what is behind him." And Joe certainly did not trip on what was behind him. Because all of a sudden, on Ashlee's page, she started posting videos of her and Joe traveling around the world going to exotic places together. Now, it is important to point out that Ashlee's Instagram page is highly curated, meaning she is showing the world exactly what she wants the world to see. She is either in the villa with the Chanel, the Ferrari with the Gucci, or on the helicopter with the Balenciaga. While at the same time, on Joe's page, you never see Ashlee. Not once. It is almost as if she does not exist in this world. Now, it is very obvious that Ashlee is adept at creating an image that she wants the whole world to see. But what is more interesting to me is what you do not see. You never see Joe and Ashlee with friends. You never see Joe and Ashlee with family. And you never see Joe and Ashlee with any other people except for the help, which is very different than her older pictures where she is out partying, she is out with friends. I mean, there are people in her life. That is until around 2025 when Joe enters the picture. Just something to think about. Anyhow, after Ashlee started posting pictures of her with her new beau Joe, there were several instances where people had a gut feeling that Joe would eventually end up harming Ashlee, and they shared their thoughts with her in the comments section. For example, 20 weeks ago, one person simply wrote, "He going to murk you," and a whole lot of people had a similar feeling when they saw pictures of Joe and Ashlee on a plane because of the way that he was looking at Ashlee. So, fast forward once again to this April when Joe and Ashlee flew to a romantic getaway in Zanzibar, Tanzania, to celebrate Ashlee's 31st birthday. The couple checked into the Seville Wildlife Resort and booked a room in a Buffalo village for $950 a night. And for the first few nights, their adventure seemed like a fantasy. On her birthday, Ashlee posts photos of herself with a scenic view celebrating her birthday while feeding a giraffe near a bed of roses. A few days later, she posts a video of her and Joe walking together with a white lion walking in front of them. Then Joe gets down on one knee and asks her to marry him. Then everything went quiet. The next thing you know, Ashlee's friend jumps on social media and posts that Ashlee was found unresponsive at the villa, and Joe says that she deleted herself. According to the friend, Ashlee was not the type that would ever harm herself. Then come to find out that after Ashlee passed away, Joe did not see fit to contact her family until 11 hours after the fact. And even then, he did not tell them that she was no longer on this earth. Next, we find out that Ashlee and Joe had a major argument the night before she supposedly deleted herself, which caused the staff at the villa to separate them and put them in separate rooms before the next morning, when Joe and the staff allegedly went to her room and found her in a closet with a piece of cloth from her clothes wrapped around her that caused her to be unconscious and air to stop going to her brain. Alright, so after they found her in that state, they rushed her to 2 different hospitals. And during that time, Joe did not see fit to contact her family to let them know what was going on. As a matter of fact, according to the family, they would not even know that she was no longer on this earth if the hotel and the American consulate did not have the decency to look through her passport, get her contact information, and contact the family. Now, the statement that originally came out of Tanzania said that there is no way that Joe could have done it because there was no evidence of foul play, and it must have been self-induced because they separated them the night before and they were in 2 different rooms, and Joe was with staff members when they found her. Alright, so as you know, I am sitting here. I am listening to this story because everybody is covering it, and I am like, you know what? Something does not sound right here. So, let me do a little research myself. And I got to admit, at first I was mad confused because I looked at the room that she was in, or the type of room that she was in at the Surville Wildlife Resort, and I am like, there is no way this young black girl attached herself to this African IKEA closet that is in this room. After I saw that, I was also confused by the fact that they said that they had an argument and they were put in 2 different rooms. And I was like, okay, I have a feeling that after they were separated, he might have went to her room. But I was like, wait a minute. I know darn well that this white man did not risk walking through a safari filled with lions, tigers, and bears. Alright, there were no bears, but I was like, I do not feel that he would walk through the safari to get to her, so something is not adding up. And then the family came out and did that news interview and clarified that after they did the whole engagement and proposal at Surville, they left there and went to a different hotel, which was the Zuri Zanzibar. And I was like, okay, now it is starting to make sense. So the same way that I did with Surville, I went over to Zuri Zanzibar and looked at the rooms. And after I looked at the rooms, I was like, you know what? I am almost 98% certain that this young girl did not unalive herself. Because when you look at the hotel rooms, these rooms are filled with ropes and also wooden beams. So I am like, wait a minute. You are in a room where there are a whole lot of wooden beams where you can attach a rope, but yet and still you rip a piece of your own clothes and then go into the closet. Absolutely not. That is a mess that a man who is in a rush would do. Now, after looking at one of the sample rooms at the Zuri Zanzibar, do you see what I'm saying? Ropes and low-hanging wooden beams everywhere. So now, after looking at the environment, the terrain, the hotel rooms, and everything, I have now come up with 4 theories. And before you get your panties all up in a bunch, I do not believe that theories 1 through 3 actually happened. I am banking on theory number 4. But even though I believe that theory number 4 is what may have happened, I like to be thorough and cover all the bases. Now, I am going to share these theories with you, but do not get mad because the first theory actually is going to take into account maybe, just maybe, it could have been self-induced. Bear with me. Theory 1, Joe gives off jealous, insecure, I want to own you energy, and something occurred after they got engaged and before she was found in the closet that made him call everything off. Perhaps a member of the staff flirted with her, or he saw something in a cell phone that made him realize that he did not want to marry her anymore. Now Ashlee, who has grown accustomed to a certain lavish luxury lifestyle, does not want to go back to the trenches. So, when he called off the wedding, it was too much for her to handle and she was like, nah, I do not want to do this anymore, and she walked herself into that closet. Now, while this theory is plausible, I highly doubt this is what happened. And I am going to tell you why. Ashlee does not give off that type of energy. She gives off the energy that says, I started from the bottom, now I am here. And if I fall back down and have to start from the bottom again, I can rise back to the top very quickly and be right back here in the same room with another white man next year. So, I am going to have to say it is a no for theory number 1. Theory number 2. Joe is an abusive dude who likes to be in control at all times and fetishizes black women that he dates. And although he drops bags on them, he has major issues. But his issues were trade-offs that Ashlee was willing to live with. However, when Ashlee posted her comeuppance and engagement online, something or somebody from her past entered into the chat, and Joe found out about it, snapped, and threatened to expose something that she did not want the world to know. So, instead of enduring what she feared might happen in the future, she decided it may be better to just rest. Now, do I really think that theory 1 or 2 happened? Absolutely not, because I do not think that she did anything to herself. I think that somebody else did something, which is why I am leaning more heavily to theories 3 and 4. Alright, so theory 3. Someone on the grounds was enamored with Ashlee when they first arrived, and they were watching her the entire time that she was there. And when they saw that her and Joe got into an argument, and they had to go their separate ways, and she was then alone sleeping in her own room, they took the opportunity to enter her villa, do something shady, and then they staged the whole scene. And finally, theory 4. The theory that I would bank my money on, and if I was a detective over there in Africa, this is the one that I would be looking into. Theory 4. After the argument that occurred, the staff separated Joe and Ashlee, but put them in separate rooms. However, after they were separated, Joe went back to her room, tiptoed through the bushes, pulled up at her door, and then murked her. And then when the coast was clear, he tiptoed back through the bushes back to his hotel room. Then the next day, he asked the staff member to accompany him back to Ashlee's villa, knowing full darn well what they were going to find when they opened that door because he wanted a witness and an alibi. So, my guess is if the family goes over to Tanzania and they get their hands on the surveillance footage and also the key card to her villa, we are going to find out that Joe is out there tiptoeing through those bushes. If, and this is a big if, Joe has not already paid somebody off at the hotel to erase all of that digital information. But if there is one new millionaire over there in Zanzibar, I think that there is a piece of information that they might have missed, which is this. If Joe did it, then I think that when the family gets there, they need to get a DNA test done on that piece of cloth that she had in the closet. And I think that if they do, they might find some interesting male DNA on that garment. But here is a piece of advice for the family. When you get down there to Tanzania, do not let the authorities become the only ones that test that DNA. Get yourself a sample and also get yourself an independent test done because we do not trust anybody that Joe has already been in contact with. And also, if it was me, I would get a forensics accountant to look into Joe's accounts and see if any large sums of money or Bitcoin have left his account ever since the incident occurred. So, do I think that Joe was slick and cunning enough to sneak through them bushes and get back to her room after they were separated? Yes, I do. Which is why, if I had to guess, this seems like something that could have plausibly happened because in addition to the fact that Joe was acting all shady with the family, when some of her medical information was revealed in that news clip that I just showed you, and we saw the AMLE or ample assessment, which stands for allergies, medications, past medical history, last meal or other intake, and events leading to the event. I could not help but notice this ninja did not know anything about the woman that he was getting ready to marry. I mean, for real, you did not know whether or not the woman you were getting ready to marry and you were dating for an entire year had any allergies. You did not know whether or not she was taking any kind of medication. You did not know whether or not she had any medical issues in her past. I mean, come on, get real. These are the type of answers that you give when you are actually not trying to save somebody's life. And if you did not know any of these answers, how come you did not call her family, Joe? Especially since she was technically still alive when you found her. Now, interestingly, he did know that she ingested or consumed something 4 hours before. And some people are assuming that that was food, but it could have been something else. And here is the thing, because you know, I pay attention to the small stuff. If he was separated from Ashlee all night long, did not see her because they had a fight, and he found her the next day when he was with the staff, how in the world does Joe know what she consumed 4 hours before the event when he found her? Because if we look back over that ample assessment that the doctors filled out when Joe brought Ashlee to the hospital, they asked him, "Joe, when was the last time she consumed something? And Joe responded by saying, 4 hours ago. Let me tell you something. I'm very glad that social media has seemed to light a fire under their asses over there in Zanzibar, and now they seem to be taking the investigation a little bit more seriously, and now they have allegedly taken away Joe's passport, so he cannot leave the country. I have an update on the death of model and influencer Ashlee Robinson. She went by Ashlee Janae online. I obtained video of a news conference today in Tanzania in which officials say they are holding Joe McCann for questioning, and they are holding his passport while police wait for the post-mortem. We have been unable to reach Joe McCann. So with that being said, the only thing left to say is this. Ashlee's family is trying to get over there to Tanzania so that they can find out what really happened to Ashlee. So, they have set up a GoFundMe so that they could get the funds in order to travel and make the trip. Now, just so we are clear, I do not really endorse GoFundMes, and I'm not telling you to go over there and give them your money. I am just letting you know that it is there in case you want to get a family a little something. And I am saying that specifically because it turns out that the GoFundMe is very controversial. And some people are like, I am not giving that chick nothing. And here is the reasons why. I know that you guys take what I say with a grain of salt, and I am okay with that. But when it comes to the Ashlee Janae situation, there is a lot of questions here. And so this one follower said this question. They said they can. This was with the parents asking for money for the GoFundMe, etc. It said this. This person said they can miss me with this one. Her family is very dense for even asking. She was out here living a life many dreams of. That is right. And no property that can be sold or life insurance. Come on now. And so what happens is, right, there is a parasocial dynamic. And I want you guys to always remember that there is a parasocial dynamic. And what that looks like is you cannot be on an Emirates private jet that costs $2,500 for a flight or $3,000. And now your parents are online with a GoFundMe trying to figure out how to be crime. Stoppers, people are not. It is just you are going to have some people that donate because they care. But also, this should be a lesson to all of the girlies out there. Ashlee needs to be a lesson to you guys. Remember what I told you? Do not lose the plot, okay? Being a bad to a real to a rich, do not lose the plot. You understand? This is a red flag. So, you mean to think about it. You got Birkins, you got Chanel bags. You were in places that people dream about going. Your parents have this girl's parents have a GoFundMe up now. Her cryptocurrency millionaire guru boyfriend has not even called these people, and these people have zero. They are very dense. It is very true. It is very true. But like I said, this is just my opinion. Again, rest in peace, Ashlee Janae. I think this is a horrible situation. I just want us to be mindful because some of us will have to rest in preference who, whoa, hold off, I am very confused. He introduced her to the soft life. Did not he have her flying? She was a helicopter riding jet flying. What? This cannot be true. Ladies and gentlemen, TMZ is reporting that Miss Janae, whatever her name is, the noted swirler who found herself hanging from that noose to loose, that woman who said that white man was going to give her the soft life, that woman who was going around in a Lamborghini is now asking for money to be buried. Her family, ladies and gentlemen, is asking for Miss Ashlee Janae to be buried. And they are asking for $50,000 to bury a influencer who spent her time telling y'all that the white guy that she was with is treating y'all her way better than any man y'all can be with, and telling other black women that they need to get them a white man too, because white men treat you better and give you the soft life. Can somebody explain how you get to be rich all day online telling everybody how rich you are, but when it is time for you to get buried, you do not have no money? How so many of y'all got a problem with the girl Ashlee Janae's family starting to GoFundMe? Why her fiancé ain't paying for it? He rich. I thought she had money. She was on a private jet. If you are not going to go her, then stay out of their business. I mean, that girl did not die. But y'all, the main one's online talking about he killed her. So why would he give money to help them come find him? To come help them crack a case that he guilty from? I believe he did it too. So, I used my spidey sensor and I said, well, of course he ain't going to answer the phone or help them get money to get to Zanzibar to crack the case, because he did it allegedly. It do not take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Stop asking questions. That is dumb, putting it all online. That is like O.J. Simpson paying for Nicole Simpson's lawyers in his murder case. Why would he do that? If y'all going to keep up with this story, y'all got to use your skills like the little white lady in Murder, She Wrote. Use your skills. Okay, so I see where everybody is coming from, but let me be the voice of reason for a second. 1. If Ashlee has some money, that does not mean that her family has money, and now Ashlee is gone. So, her money has nothing to do with the amount of money that they have in their pockets. For example, your money is not your mama and daddy's money, and they cannot touch her money that she may have in a bank if they are not the beneficiaries. On top of that, you need death certificates in order to start transferring funds. 2. If she did have a life insurance policy, they are not paying out as long as they believe that she may have committed the big S. And 3. If the family truly believes deep down in their hearts that Joe actually committed the crime and deleted Ashlee, they may not want to take a cent from that man. Which brings me all the way back to the fact that if he was truly innocent, he was born in the way that he says that he is on Instagram and he truly loved Ashlee, he would have been done, got the family some tickets. And on top of that, he would have called the mama to let her know exactly what was going on because he would have had enough respect and decency to do so. And he cannot say that he was in the wilderness. He could not make the call because it turns out Ashlee called her mother to tell her about the argument that him and her had at the hotel the night before, so service was just fine. And now that I am thinking about it, there is actually a fifth theory of what could have happened, but it is so out there that I shudder to say it online. I am just going to say that it has to do with the black market, and after he used her up, he might have put her up for sale. Proposal could have been a cover-up, and that night she might have got hip to the game. But to be fair, because this is a fair channel, even if Joe did not do anything, his hands are totally clean. The family still needs to know what happened to Ashlee. And if Joe really loved his fiancée, would not he need to and want to know exactly what happened to her too? Listen, let me know your thoughts on this case and also everything that we discussed in this video. And while you are down there leaving a comment, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. The entire situation surrounding Ashlee Janae's death has sparked intense discussions across social media platforms. Many people express strong opinions about the circumstances, the relationship dynamics, and the family's decision to create a GoFundMe campaign. Some viewers pointed out the apparent contrast between the luxurious lifestyle Ashlee appeared to live and the financial appeal made by her family after her passing. Others defended the family, explaining that an individual's personal success does not automatically translate into financial resources available to relatives, especially when legal processes like obtaining death certificates are required before accessing any accounts or insurance policies. Critics highlighted that if Ashlee truly possessed significant wealth from her influencer career, modeling, work, and association with a cryptocurrency entrepreneur, questions arose about why her family needed public donations to travel to Tanzania and investigate the matter. Comments ranged from skepticism about the family's preparedness to outright accusations of opportunism. At the same time, supporters reminded everyone that life insurance payouts are often withheld in cases where suicide is suspected, and families may hesitate to accept assistance from someone they believe could be involved in the incident. Several commentators drew parallels to high-profile cases to illustrate their points about potential motives and behaviors. They noted that if Joe McCann were innocent and genuinely cared for Ashlee, he would likely have taken immediate steps to support her family, including notifying them promptly and assisting with travel arrangements. The fact that Ashlee had been able to contact her mother the night before the incident suggested that communication services were functioning normally at the resort, which further fueled speculation about Joe's delay in reaching out. Discussions also touched on broader lessons for young women pursuing similar lifestyles. Many urged caution against fully depending on a partner for financial security while maintaining an image of independence and luxury online. The parasocial relationship between influencers and their audiences was frequently mentioned, with people observing that curated social media content often hides underlying realities. Viewers emphasized the importance of maintaining personal financial independence and strong family connections regardless of relationship status. The controversy surrounding the GoFundMe page intensified when public figures and online personalities weighed in. Some expressed disbelief that a woman who frequently showcased private jets, designer items, and exotic vacations would leave her family in a position requiring crowdfunding for basic needs like travel and burial arrangements. Others argued that judging the family harshly was unfair given the sudden and traumatic nature of the loss. They stressed that emotional grief combined with logistical challenges in a foreign country could justify seeking community support. Throughout the coverage, respect for Ashlee's memory remained a common theme even amid debates. Many people offered condolences and called for a thorough, transparent investigation by Tanzanian authorities. The decision to hold Joe McCann for questioning and restrict his passport was viewed by some as a positive development, indicating that officials were taking the case seriously after initial public pressure. Questions persisted about the sequence of events on the night of the argument and the following morning. The separation into different rooms, the discovery of Ashlee's condition, the transport to multiple hospitals, and the differing medical reports created layers of confusion that demanded clarification. Observers pointed out inconsistencies in statements regarding the method and location of the incident, particularly concerning the physical setup of the hotel rooms and the surrounding environment. The family's push to reach Tanzania themselves was seen as crucial for ensuring an impartial review of evidence, including surveillance footage, keycard records, and forensic testing of materials found at the scene. Recommendations included securing independent DNA analysis and financial audits to trace any unusual transactions around the time of the incident. These steps were suggested to build a clearer picture and prevent reliance solely on local authorities who might have been influenced by external factors. In wrapping up the discussion, the focus returned to the human element of the tragedy. Ashlee Janae was remembered as a vibrant young woman who built a career from humble beginnings through determination and adaptability. Her journey from New Jersey to Miami, her success in music videos, and her evolution into a lifestyle influencer showcased ambition and resilience. The interracial relationship that appeared to open doors to a world of luxury also became the center of intense scrutiny after her untimely death. Ultimately, the case highlighted deeper societal conversations about trust, image versus reality, interracial dynamics, and the vulnerabilities that can exist even in seemingly glamorous lives. Whether the final determination points to self-inflicted harm, foul play by an acquaintance, or involvement of a third party, the need for truth and justice for Ashlee and her loved ones remained paramount. The public's role in keeping attention on the investigation through social media was acknowledged as a factor that may help push for more rigorous examination of all available evidence. As developments continue to unfold, many await updates from both the family and Tanzanian officials. The hope expressed across platforms is that comprehensive answers will emerge, providing closure and preventing similar uncertainties in future cases. Until then, the story serves as a sobering reminder to prioritize safety, open communication with family, and careful evaluation of relationships regardless of external appearances. Hey yo, thanks for tuning into The Source, your source for celebrity news.